What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on BlackTideTV and my Juggernaut body armor video. I was already planning a Juggernaut video before this weekend and the brand new patch to the equipment. So between weekends 1 and 2, there was a major update and they completely overhauled the Juggernaut body armor equipment. I apologize. I'll be calling it Juggernaut throughout this video simply because it is so comparable to that perk from Call of Duty 4. If you were unaware, the Juggernaut perk in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, that is where this perk saw its beginnings. The Juggernaut would basically give you a flat increase to health, making you much more difficult to kill. That was a perk in that game, and there was a perfect counter known as Stopping Power, which was a perk in the same category, increasing bullet damage. So a player using Stopping Power could kill an enemy using Juggernaut the same way they would have killed any other player. Similar to how AP rounds work against body armor in this game, but we'll be getting into all of that a little later in this video. Juggernaut body armor, it is essentially the same thing. Juggernaut was a very toxic perk, and so the Call of Duty developers have basically abandoned it until Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and the introduction of the body armor gear. Gear is a brand new slot in your created class system where you essentially take a piece of equipment that functions as a perk. The ComSec device is much like Hardline. It reduces the cost of score streaks. Stim allows you to heal much more frequently. Equipment charge allows you to use your equipment, your specialist abilities more frequently. And the acoustic sensor is basically 6 cents from Call of Duty Black Ops 3. But in this game, there is also body armor, another option for your gear. And during weekend 1 of the beta, it was incredibly popular, and for good reason. Much like the original Juggernaut perk in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, running the body armor gear would give players an initial 40 to 50 additional HP at spawn. A body armor that would protect them from 1 to 2 shots to kill before actually chipping away at their own health. This was an incredible advantage, and it made most gunfights feel incredibly unbalanced. It made people scream overpowered and game breaking, and I would certainly agree. It is very stressful to engage with a number of enemies and to notice halfway through your gunfight that that guy and that guy both have armored, and that armored is going to be the end of your life because those are extra bullets that you'll need to kill them. They have an immediate advantage over you because you may not have AP rounds on your weapon, and that is one of the buffs I would have suggested to Treyarch had they not already gone ahead and adjusted this. This was the most hotly debated topic from the first weekend of the beta, and Treyarch jumped on it as soon as they possibly could, and I commend them for that. Though I'm not certain about how they've adjusted the body armor, they may not have adjusted it at all, and it may be a placebo effect, but that is just a conspiracy theory that we'll touch on in a moment. Originally, body armor would give you that flat increase to health, and there were a few ways to counter this. Explosive damage would chip away at health and not touch body armor, but this is a little mini buff that many players have overlooked from weekend 1 to 2. Explosive damage is now protected from that body armor. So if you're using body armor and you take explosive damage, it will chip off the body armor first before your health in weekend 2. Explosive damage was bugged in the first weekend, and explosive damage could affect a body armored enemy. Also effective at eliminating a body armored enemy, headshots. Headshots have always been effective, even in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 against battery kinetic armor. You could always get a headshot to finish off that enemy very quickly, rather than shooting them in the body where you would not deal any damage. Similar thing here with the body armor. Headshots have always been more effective. They completely negate the body armor. And then of course, you've also got your AP rounds, your armor-piercing rounds. Armor-piercing rounds completely destroy armor with no damage penalty. So before, when you had that 40 to 50 additional HP on your body at spawn, the armor-piercing rounds, the first bullet that hits them immediately destroys their armor and deals the full damage of the bullet to that person's health rather than their armor. Whereas most other bullets would deal the damage to the armor first and then their health would be fine. Armor-piercing rounds skip right past that body armor and they destroy it for any teammates. So you could shoot at an enemy with body armor, and then a player on your team without armor-piercing rounds could also shoot at them and deal straight damage to their health. So AP rounds would completely negate body armor, similar to how stopping power worked against Juggernaut back in the good old days of Call of Duty. A suggestion that I would have made to Treyarch is to make AP rounds available for every single weapon. In Call of Duty Black Ops 4, weapons have different attachments, and there are unique attachments for certain weapons, unique attachment sets, even in the same class. You can have an assault rifle that has quick draw and another assault rifle that has laser sight, and either or wouldn't have the opposite attachment. So they all have unique attachments, and some weapons weren't able to run AP rounds, which is a little game breaking considering most players were using that body armor. Between AP rounds, headshots, and the now patched explosive damage, Treyarch had decided they were going to change the body armor from week 1 to week 2. Body armor was simply overperforming, and at first they really wanted to let players unlock other things and try other methods of depleting that body armor. Their first big note about the body armor was that, yeah, well, we're going to let you guys unlock some things because we think it's okay. But they shortly reversed their opinion, and they have massively changed the body armor, or at least it would appear so. So week 2, in terms of balance, they've gone ahead and strengthened all of the other gear in that gear slot, with the exception of the acoustic sensor, because that is low-key incredibly overpowered. But the ComSec device, it's even less score for new score streaks. The stim works even faster. The equipment charge works even faster. So they're trying to give you other options. They are trying to make you use anything but the body armor when it comes to the gear slot. And personally, I think the stim is the best equipment to use in that slot, and a large majority of players are using the stim so that they can heal themselves more often. They've also gone ahead and changed how the body armor works. They say now that players wearing body armor are dealt a percentage of damage rather than body armor blocking the full effect of that damage. So rather than the armor taking the full brunt of a bullet and a half, they will also take damage to their health. So if they are already wounded in their health and they forgot to heal, somehow without dealing any body armor damage, you might kill them faster. This seems a little questionable to me, and I can't tell if there has been any change whatsoever. You are still encountering body armored enemies, you just don't know it. In week 1, gameplay you're seeing right now, you get body armor hit markers, and when you're engaging an enemy that has body armor, you will see that little shield, that vest image pop up that says, yeah, no, you better keep shooting at this guy or he is going to kill you. Well, in week 2, that doesn't happen, and in fact, they've already updated how you will know when you're engaging an armored enemy, and you don't get to know until after you've killed them, unless you are really, really perceptive when shooting at enemies. You can now see the body armor on the enemies, and you can see it when you break it off. There is an armor that they wear, and when you shoot them, it will literally fall off and dissipate into nothingness. But that is very difficult to see in game, whereas the points that you're rewarded after killing an armored enemy are very easy to see. So when you kill an armored enemy, it now grants plus 25 score, which, I mean, okay, because armored enemies are harder to kill. They take that additional shot to kill, regardless of if you were taking a percentage or if you were taking a flat damage off the top. They will still require 1 to 2 extra shots to kill, and now you get to know that the enemy is armored after you kill them. But there's no longer an armored image that pops up when you are shooting an armored enemy because you aren't dealing damage directly to that armor. This is where I think you'll find my placebo effect conspiracy theory a little interesting. So the placebo effect is best described as a medical effect where patients are given sugar pills, but they are told that those are real pills that will cure them of whatever ailment they have, and their brain does the work and cures them of that ailment. Say you had a headache and I handed you a sugar pill but told you it was Advil, your brain would be like, yeah, no, I just had Advil, I'm good to go. Same thing here. I don't believe that the body armor has ever been touched. I believe while they may adjust how the damage is taken off, you still have all of that increased health. It's just coming off of you in a different way, and players that are shooting at enemies with body armor no longer know that they are engaging an enemy with body armor until far long after the gunfight. You no longer complain that you are hitting body armored enemies because you don't know. You aren't getting that body armor hit marker. That's like, hey, no, you're shooting at someone that has body armor. body armor is still effective. Body armor is still being used by a number of players, and you do notice the difference. If you notice engaging enemies and seeing the score pop-ups after you kill them, you will start to notice, like, yeah, that actually took a few extra shots to kill that guy. That guy took a lot of damage. There are certain weapons in this game that I know for certain are a 4-shot kill at any given range that I'm going to engage an enemy with. Those body armored enemies still take 5 to 6 shots to kill. That isn't the result of damage fall off. That's body armor serving its purpose. It is still an effective tactic, and until we have more statistical information directly from the game code with this adjustment to how body armor affects our depletion of health, we can't say for certain if we can take more or less damage than we ever could before while using the gear. So keep that in mind. It is a conspiracy theory, but there is some fact to it. Body armor is still effective. You can still use body armor and get away with taking an additional shot before death. You just don't know when you are engaging an enemy with body armor, and that's what scares me. Body armor seems to have been brushed under the rug, but I'd love to hear what you guys think of my conspiracy theory and all of the adjustments they've made to body armor. I personally would have made the body armor only apply to the chest area, as though enemies were wearing a bulletproof vest. So if you shot them in the legs, the arms, the head, it should do full damage to their health, whereas their chest is a little more defended. This would change the way that people play the game and how they engage enemies, shooting at limbs instead of the chest, center, mass. That would be cool, but I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next video.